Good morning, O'Brien. Right as you've put it, we're coming to live from the Masai Mara National Reserve. We are in the Mara Triangle, the other side of the Masai Mara National Reserve. It is the peak season in the Mara. Actually, it is the peak season in the tourism calendar in the country, and this is when we are witnessing the wildebeest migration. And O'Brien, you know what that means. We are witnessing millions of the wildebeest crossing over the Mara River, and it is one that will take you some time to be able to capture the moments of the wildebeest crossing over the Mara River. It's a bit windy in the Masai Mara, but we do appreciate the number of tourists has improved compared to the previous years, especially after the hit of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country and also in other parts of the world. Without further ado, Brian, let me bring on board the GM for and the Beyond, Kichwa Tembo James Shege, to give us the statistics where we are today now that the wildebeest migration has begun. Mr. Shege, welcome on set.
Thank you.
When we look at the previous years, the number of tourists who have been able to come during the wildebeest migration, where would you rate this season?
Well, we have seen a great increase in the numbers as compared to even last year, and it's growing well. And so far, occupancies are looking good all the way to November. And if all goes well, I think this will be the best year since COVID.
I do understand right now we are doing at 99.5% in terms of occupancy, but then which would we have, who are the largest clients that we have here?
Well, let's say like 60% of our market is like Americans, but we still have a mixture. We have Europeans also, and Scandinavians, as well as from South America. So it's a mixed market. We haven't seen much of a domestic market, but possibly will be on the way.
But why do you think during the high season we normally have a low number of tourists locally compared to other parts of the world? What is the reason? Do you think our rates are a bit high, or what could be the reason behind this?
Well, I would think the rates also plays a factor, because in our sector this is the busy time, and this is the time people live. Like over the, like we get to Christmas and then year, then you get the locals, local market coming in.
Thank you. That is James Shege, the GM and the Beyond. Right now I'm bringing on board Chariot Charity, one of the tour guides who have been able to interact with, taking us to these destinations that we are able to actually spot the wildlife and also understand the concept behind this migration. Charity, how has it been? When did the migration begin?
Like the last week of July, that's when we started seeing the migration at the southern part of the reserve. As from yesterday, we had a very huge group coming from the southwestern part of the game reserve. And I would say for the last few years, we've been witnessing a lot of migration, which is fantastic. And in terms of river crossing, it's happening now at the southern part of the reserve, which is Mara Bridge. And the last few days, the guests have been seeing fantastic crossing with the wildebeest and zebras. And of course, some trophies have been seen also crossing the river. And of course, I'm sure I've seen a lot of crocodiles having a fantastic feast from the animals that are crossing the river.
Chariot, from where you stand right now, there's been a concern that the number of wildebeest to the Mara this time round reduced compared to last year. How true is that from the information you've gathered?
I won't talk of the numbers have reduced, but the movement of the wildebeest have really changed a lot. I remember the last 2 to 3 years, we could see the wildebeest in front of the camp where we are standing now. But for 2 to 3 years, we haven't seen the wildebeest in this area. So it's like either there is a lot of grass for them to feed on, or maybe it's shortened. The time has been shortened to stay in the Mara. But we haven't witnessed a lot of crossing last year, but we are hoping for a lot of crossing this year around.
Thank you, Chariot. And Brian, before I get back to you, this morning we were able to have an experience of a kind, an air balloon safari. But I would like to get it from one of the captains. Why would we prefer the air balloons compared to the normal game drives in the Mara? Do we have a different experience? Let's start with the names.
My name is Ihab. chief pilot of Skyship Balloons. Hot air balloon in Masai Mara, one from the best places you can do balloon in the world. I did many countries, but you don't comparing between Masai Mara and any other countries' experience. The experience in hot air balloon in Masai Mara, you can see the wildlife from different view. You can see the cats when the grass tall now before the migration season. It's difficult to spot from the safari cars because the grass is a little bit high. From the balloon you can spot from different angle. It will be easy to go also to visit places never ever you can go with the safari car because sometimes it's swampy, forest, whatever. But the hot air balloon experience, this is nothing compared. This one you can find out many other places you cannot see by safari car. Different experience completely, and one from the best place in the world.
Supposedly it falls from up the sky.
No, but when you are floating on top of the wildlife, especially over the migration, the view is no compare. It's really amazing.
Thank you. That is the captain of the day. O'Brien, it has been a good experience, and we're still here for a couple of days. So we will be able to tell you how our experience goes, of course, on Magical Sense segment and also in our bulletins. You can see the Mara is green. The rains that actually poured in the country did us justice. And so the wildlife, and especially the wildebeest, the zebras, and the antelopes have a reason to be on this side of the Mara. O'Brien?